So we've got kind of a double header today. We've got two pieces of really cool new types of gear that I haven't had on the channel before, and that's always the fun stuff when I can bring out some new technologies or ideas. First piece we're going to do is the Double NFP Special Mark II preamp from Lusithand. You've seen a lot of Lusithand on the channel lately. You know, I've become a big fan of their gear and I'm using a lot of it. This is something really interesting. I did the 800 BMF, which is another great preamp. This works on a totally different principle, as you'll see. So, totally different way of sculpting your sound. Now, what's feeding that preamp is to Weldang Phat Momma 5 multi-coil pickups. We'll get into what multi-coil and everything means if you're not familiar, but very, very cool pickups. And I'll cover everything as we get into that section. But first, we're going to do the preamp, so let's check it out. Now, we have a 4-knob configuration here, and right away there's going to be something different because we have a volume, a pan, then we have one filter, and then another filter. Notice I didn't say EQ, and notice I didn't say tone. It's not either one of those things. Every pickup has what's called a resonant peak, and that's what gives it its tonal color and its overall sound. I won't go into the whole thing and make it a really long video here. You can look it up. There's stuff that explains it all over YouTube. But these two controls work with the resonance, not the EQ, and not just a tone where you're kind of dialing off the high end or boosting the low. So let's just hear it and see what it does. So what I've got is the pan set center and both pickups full up, and here's our basic tone here. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is start dialing the filter while I trill off of a string on the front or neck pickup and listen to what starts to happen to the sound. See how you can hear something very different is going on? Now let's hear the sound. That resonance has completely moved. Let's go back up to the top. A little bit more. All the way down. That's a really new premise. I had a little while, it took me a while to get used to this and kind of wrap my head around it. Now let's do the same thing for the rear pickup and see what happens. Let's hear it with the resonance all the way down to 0 and the neck pickup all the way up to 10. All the way back up again. Set it about center. It's not adding this massive EQ spike. You're getting something as far as the overall tonal color of the pickup being changed. So that's really interesting. And like I said, I've played with this a lot. If you get this set and you're a tone psycho like I am, just say goodbye to your family for a few days, that type of thing. There are so many options hidden inside of this. It's layer on layer of tone sculpting. So there's a lot in this. Now, I started to find that for me, I tend to lean much more to the neck pickup in most sets that I play, and I dial off the J a little bit. It always sounds a little honky, a little bright to me. I found right away that just being able to dial that down just a little bit here at the back and darken that out a little bit, moving the resonance a bit, I went from to, it tamed that honk. I could even go down maybe a little more. That's what closer to what I want to hear. Something with a little bit more thump to it and not quite as much that I think is probably around 700 kind of honk that most pickups in this position are going to pick up. Right there you go, well, that's a lot. And of course you have the blend. You can move this. Okay, tons of different options. You can do a lot of tone sculpting. Haven't even touched the surface. There can't possibly be more here, Rodney. There's more here. Now, what's really cool on this is that, let me turn these both back up, is that these two, both of the filters are on push-pulls, which means I can pop these up and that puts a boost into the filter. Really getting that push forward makes a big difference. So that's cool. Off. Big difference. And to me, it brings out a lot of, I use harmonics and things, as you guys have heard, and it makes everything just kind of pop forward really quickly, getting that. Man, that is just clarity right up there, and I really like that. And then I can do the same trick that I did a minute ago, dial off the rear one just a little bit and get right where I would want it to sit. Now, that's a lot of options. So we're pretty much done there, right? No, there's more. Now, there's a set of boards when you install this that go into your control cavity. Both of these right here, the filters, have a cue that you can adjust with, you know, like a small screwdriver, and you can change the cue of each of these, also adjusting the sound. So you can really fine tune and dial it into exactly how you want this to react. So you've got that layer of tone sculpting. That's got to cover it, right? Nope. We've got one more option here. So let's check this out. This is with both popped forward and all the way up. One more push-pull is on the volume. And this is a new addition called the attack feature. And what it does is it boosts some upper treble area things and gives you kind of a clarity and cut on top of everything that's going on. So if you really like that, you know, the stringiness of it and really having that lay on top of a mix, you can just pop that in, and I mean, all the tone and all the brilliance is here. That's yet another option for your tone sculpting you can pull there. And even that is adjustable. You can adjust the gain of that boost inside on the board that attaches to this one. So an amazing amount of options packed into a 4-knob configuration, but there's little things hidden all over that you can do a lot with. So this is just really impressive. I don't think I've ever run into something with this many options out of just 4 knobs and conceived the same way. Now, for you that might be familiar with wall basses, this is kind of where the concept is taken from. Wall basses have been used by everybody from like Geddy Lee. If you're a fan of Tool, Justin Chancellor is known for his wall bass. He uses those, I think, pretty much exclusively. And this is the premise that they use with their sets of pickups. If you've ever tried to buy a wall bass, I hope you got a good 12 grand sitting around somewhere, or, you know, a couple cars you can get rid of or something. But this can get you that type of filtering and that type of preamp set at yeah, a considerably less impressive price point. This is really cool. That's something I'm still getting my head around. I'm still playing with the cues and things like that. So you can do a lot inside of a 4-knob package, and I really like that it's that way because that's pretty standard for a lot of basses. And usually when you get packages that have a lot of options, multiple switches and, you know, a billion other things in it that you've got to tear apart your bass to do, this is going to fit right into most configurations. So let's talk about what we got going on with the pickups that this thing is dialed into. So again, these are the Weldang Phat Momma 5 set, and they're a multi-coil pickup. Before I explain multi-coil, just on the cosmetics, these are made with walnut covers. So you've got wood covers going on here, and they're ebonized. And one cool thing that when I spoke with Mike at Weldang, they can stain and color match things. They can do all kinds of really cool options. So that's really interesting and kind of a way to get your own mark on your pickups and have something individual. And he was cool enough to, you know, put the old R and M logo here on the front, which that was really cool of him. I really appreciated it. It looks great. And it took no extra time, as far as I could tell, in putting a set together and getting these zapped in before I could even agree to, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. He already had it, you know, in process. So a multi-coil setup, what it means is that each string has 2 coils making it a humbucking pair. Then you have 2 for this one, 2 for this one, and so on. Each string has a humbucking pair underneath of it. What that effectively is almost like you have a pickup per string. So it's almost like 5 pickups inside of one housing. And that gives you complete string separation and clarity, and something that you're not going to get with a conventional pickup that has 1 bar and 1 coil wrapping. That's also something that's common in wall basses, things like that. But this is a different take. This isn't a copy of the wall sound. This is something a little different, based on the same technology, but, you know, not an exact copy of what's going on there. What struck me with these, and what I found so interesting about them when I first plugged them up, is again, it hit me kind of like the preamp was. I didn't quite know how to get my head around it, because the things I would usually do to dial in a sound weren't really effective. They didn't do the same thing. And I went, why is this? And what I realized is that because these pickups to my ear sound very uncolored, meaning that there are no big spikes anywhere. They're just incredibly clear. The bass is dialed in really well. The mids are set with no kind of overpronounced area, and the high end is detailed and sharp and really crisp. So it was kind of like I installed 2 studio monitors in my bass. Like, I hear my bass. I know what this bass sounds like. I know what its low end does. I know where it's got its own little tweaks in the high end and kind of the mid range and that type of stuff. And I'm hearing that done hyper clear through this set. And once I got my head around that, then it made a whole lot of sense. The other thing that I noticed right away is, like I said before, I tend to lean to the neck pickup and away from the J a little bit to get rid of some of those kind of resonances I don't like too much. I didn't do that with this. I actually prefer this exactly in the middle, pan pot at 50% both ways, because the way most pickups in this position are made, they have a little bit of an enhancement in that range that doesn't appeal to me that much. This is just straight clarity, so I didn't have to dial that out and lean to my neck pickup to get rid of some of it. So let's pull it back up and check it out here. Like I said, you listen to this and the overtones and the chiming is where I hear it the most. That the clarity is just exceptional, and it's just reproducing what you're doing on the bass. Like exactly, but done almost like taking a blanket off of it. So if I'm going like, It has that really pronounced piano-esque type of tone that a lot of players chase after. You hear that all the time from bassists. They want that piano tone. Well, here like that, you really hear the wood, the metal, all the different little characteristics that might get lost in a pickup that has a ton of character, or just it's a single winding and it can't pick up that kind of detail. This is grabbing all of it. And again, the same type of harmonic test I always use. The depth of the bass, the absolute hyper clarity of the top end, really, really nice. This is what I think makes this set to my ears fairly unique too, in that it sounds like a set that's useful for anything you're going to do. It's how you treat it, because it gives you kind of a just ideal flat point to work from. A jazz gig, a rock gig, a metal gig, whatever you're going to do, you can sculpt it after them because you're not fighting anything. Yeah, this was, like I said, a whole different thing, and I'm still playing with it. And I know, because I'm a psycho and I'm a nerd, I'm going to wind up popping these out of here and taking this and moving it to other basses and things and seeing how it reacts and stuff. But it's definitely a new thing for me, having a blank canvas to work from, that I can just kind of do whatever I want or try different things, and I'm going to get new results and new sounds. I think the big key words on this one are hyper clarity and neutrality. So you can get you, and the things that, like the preamp, are going to carve it out specifically in whatever way you use it and how you want to dial it in. If you want something that's just going to give you, again, like 4K sound, studio monitors in your bass, that's the Phat Momma set. I definitely want to say thanks and hats off to both Nuno at Lusithand and Mike at Weldang for sending these out to me. These are really impressive things, and getting to play this stuff and bring it to you is awesome. And both of them are fantastic people to work with. And you know that's kind of my direction on the channel too. I want to bring new and interesting ideas out there, because let's face it, it's goddamn boring. We've had enough of the 50 billionth version of Ampeg or whatever is out there. Smaller builders, people that are trying new things, that's a very cool thing. You've got multi-coil pickups. You've got a completely different principle to work off of with a preamp. Tons of tone sculpting things are out there if you're willing to go and find new people trying new things. And these are two of them. So I'd love to hear your comments and ideas and questions on these. Have you used a multi-coil set, or do you have experience with a wall bass or one of these type of filter setups rather than the traditional EQ and tone set? What have your experiences been? Do you have, a cool trick or something I haven't figured out yet that you can offer me? And two, does this appeal to you and seem like something that you really want to look into, or might solve some problems with your current tone and your current setup? So, as always, I'll be excited to chat with you guys about it down in the comments. Really interested to hear your thoughts on this set and all the different features we have. And that's going to wrap it. So, I will see you guys next time. Be well.